Thank you, Randy. And thank you to you and your staff for putting this together. I think it's great that we have a platform to get everyone together here during this, and for opening it up to non-members as well. Thank you so much. Well, here in Dobson, we're just kind of, like I said before this meeting started, taking it day by day. I feel like we get new information weekly, daily. So we're just kind of monitoring everything and figuring things out. I know you all know by now, probably, as far as your utility bills, we extended not only to residential customers, but also commercial customers. There's no late penalties, no disconnections for non-payment. And if you know of anyone that's having trouble paying bills right now, please tell them to contact us at Town Hall, because we can set up a payment plan, and we are happy to do that. And I spoke with a couple of businesses last week that had questions about their bills. They said they would not be able to open probably during May either. And I did give them the option to just cut their water off temporarily if they wanted to. That way we don't even read their meters, so they won't have a bill, even a minimum bill right now. So they were pretty receptive to that. So if you know of anyone that's in that situation, just send them to us. We're always here. Even though we're not in the office every day, we do still get the calls. We have a cell phone that all calls are forwarded to, and you can just call us normal business hours, Monday through Friday, just like normal. And we have our computers at home. We can look up anything, access anything. As far as events, unfortunately, we all know we had to postpone the Spring Folly, and that was a big bummer.
Right.
We all look forward to that every year, and we know a lot of you are sponsors also. Luckily, the company that we contract our rides with, they were willing to work with us so we can schedule at a later date. So we may be having a fall folly, hopefully, fingers crossed. And we will be contacting all of our sponsors once we know more and seeing if it's okay to hold their sponsorship until a date later in the fall. It doesn't look like we'll be able to do several of our movie nights either. We're holding out hope that maybe we can hold those later on in the summer, because we have a great turnout to those as well. We love our movie nights, but right now we're not going to have the May one, of course. And as far as June goes, it's just up in the air. It really just depends on the reopening schedule and all the phases. And what goes hand in hand to that is our park, and our playground, and our splash pad. And our splash pad really brings a lot of people into town. So we're upset that we can't open it right now. Right now we've received guidance that we need to continue to close that for the time being. And it's recommended that we keep the splash pad itself closed until there's no more community spread. We're still waiting to get some more guidance on that. But as of right now, I don't foresee it opening at our date in May, and I don't even know if it can open in June. So the playground, of course, can't open until phase 2, which if we open at phase 1 this week, that still could be 2 or 3 weeks out. So we still could be looking at June for the playground opening at the park, and we will be having everything sanitized and cleaned. I know Johnson's cleaned everything in Mount Airy, and that's who we reached out to. They are great to work with. They've done stuff with us before. So we're going to be utilizing them to sanitize and clean our park. And they'll do the splash pad as well. They said they would do that. Our walking trail and stuff at the park, I've seen people utilizing that, and that's fine as long as everyone is practicing social distancing. We'll keep the shelters closed for now until the guidance is lifted on that, because I think in phase 1 it's still a minimum of 10 for a gathering.
Right.
And we usually have a lot of birthday parties ramping up around this time, so we've had to disappoint a lot of people as far as that goes. Also, our police department has moved to a new building. So we've had half of our building, well, a little bit less than half of our building has been vacant. Well, luckily we had that vacancy because EMS is actually utilizing it right now. They needed more space to spread out during this time. So they have set up some space back there. They're using it temporarily, and I'm glad that we were able to do that for them. They need to be able to spread out a little bit more. As far as loan and grant information, if anyone has any questions about any loans or grants for businesses, I may not know the answer off the top of my head, but I can certainly get you to the right person or the right place. As far as I know, there's several opportunities out there through the NC Rural Center and other places. Just give me a call and I will get you in touch with somebody, and we can try and help you out. But
Awesome.
this is really about y'all, so I would like to hear what you guys are doing and how you're doing and what you're hearing. So I would love to hear from the businesses.
Well, Laura, we did have a question. Todd asked, are there any insurance issues for the business if the water's turned off?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I guess the person I talked to had a hair salon, so I'm not sure. I guess they would need to talk to the insurance agent, or I can try and find out more about that if they wanted to contact us and ask some questions. That's a good question.
I don't know whether we have any insurance experts. I am not an insurance expert. I can tell you that. Well, what do you think's been, I'll throw this out. What do you think has been the biggest change? I mean, obviously this is unprecedented, and Laura, I know you've done this for a while. What's been the biggest challenge for the town during this time period?
Really just disappointing people, I'd say, about our events in the park and all of that, not knowing. None of us could have foreseen this.
Right.
And we don't really know. We didn't know the right way to handle it, I guess, at first. I don't think anyone did. And it seems like just one day I actually went to a Yadkin Valley Chamber meeting, and they were discussing potentially not having the wine festival. And it was at that moment when I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be bigger than I expected. And so just coming back here, getting everyone together, saying we're going to have to prepare to not have these events that we've ramped up for, that we've spent money on. We're not going to be able to open the splash pad. We've got to get everybody together. Just really the unknowns. And personally for myself, the budget is a big deal because you just don't know. We're right here at the end of the fiscal year preparing the budget for next fiscal year, and there's a huge range of possibilities. So that's personally my biggest challenge, as I'm sure it is for everyone.
Well, how about your town council meetings? Have you, what arrangements have you made, or have you done anything on that? On
those. We've actually held one since March, and we will be holding our May meeting because we have several things to go over, obviously, but we've held off on those for the time being. We didn't want to expose anyone. We had several that were in the high risk category, so we'd just rather be safe than sorry. But we will be holding our May meeting.
Well, I could tell you, if some of you have not been to Dobson a while, I assume all of you are familiar with Dobson. I live in Long Hill in between Mount Airy and Pilot Mountain, but I've been amazed about the what you've done with the splash park. I attended last year one of the outdoor movies, which is just the coolest thing. If you have not been to one of those, because I know Pilot Mountain does that as well, just a great idea. The events that you do, as Travis and I and the chamber team can tell you, takes a lot of work put on an event. So we feel your pain on that, no doubt about that. But Laura has also put her email address on the chat. So that's a good address for you to have. I can tell you, every time I've contacted Laura in the town, they're always very responsive. But John Tarn is here, and he asked a question: where did the police department move?
And that's at the old Capital Bank building, 201 West Cap Street. It's you can see it. It's across from the courthouse. But we were planning on having a community open house, and of course it didn't get to happen. But we'd still love to revisit that another time because it looks completely different. It works great as a police department. It just allowed them to have more space, more of what they needed. But I hope we can come back and revisit a
Right.
community open house.
John also mentioned at his company in Pilot Mountain called Extreme Marketing, and he placed in the chat as well that let him know if you need any face shields. His company, a local company, is actually, and John will talk about this later, but manufactured a plastic face shield that's really cool. And he also has produced some social distancing decals. Any business in Dobson can reach out and get them for free. Okay, John put his contact information there as well.